I was thinking it's not my time to die. When I was running, it was saying it's not my day.
At the same token that Michael's probably thinking that, I was saying the same thing on this side is that this boy's not dying today, not in my arms.
We were putting field drainage tile in a field. We, started putting in a line, and the plow got hooked on something, and it brought it to a stop. And it wasn't uncommon to, either have things get too muddy or it'd be too deep. You'd need a second tractor. So we went and got a second tractor and hooked it on there, and it ended up being hooked on a natural gas pipeline. When the initial explosion, there's so much pressure in the pipeline. There was a big, explosion of dirt. The gas was going straight up, so I was never in flames, but the heat from the explosion, I jumped out of the backhoe and started running away, and my clothes spontaneously caught fire. And I ran until I realized I was on fire, and dove to the ground, rolled myself out, and it was still too hot, and so I kept running and finally got to cooler air and put myself out again.
First things that kind of came across were pictures of the scene. It almost looked like a nuclear war zone, the extent of the damage that was caused by the explosion. Fast forward that now, and you see the young man, and he's this hulking monstrosity of a young man, good looking boy, and then he's with 85% burns.
I honestly didn't feel any pain until, well after the accident happened, and then on the way to the hospital, I started to hurt, and by the time I got to the hospital, I had enough, and as soon as I could, I told him to put me under. I had enough.
We really had to go at a lion's pace to try to get him stabilized because of how sick he was when he first came in.
His mom brought a picture in of him, and he was just this strapping young man, very, muscular, had a good build. He was, to see there he is, and now we have him, we have to get him back to that.
I was in a coma for close to 2 months, and when I finally started waking up and remembering things, I knew what happened right away, and I guess it was kind of a slow realization of what had happened.
He had a spirit about him, and no matter what we were doing as far as treatment goes, he did it. And he never complained, he didn't resist, he just did it. As soon as he was done with all of his grafting surgeries, he just catapulted into, his true recovery, his healing process. Getting up and walking and using his arms, using his hands, moving as much as he could. He was pretty inspiring.
It was very exceptional care there. The nurses were the best you could find that I've ever experienced. The doctor, he's a whole nother, a lot of people say he's not really from this world as far as his abilities and the burn unit.
Having the ability to have some endeavors where we can raise funds for the burn unit and help in terms of renovations or opening up more space would be just fantastic to serve this population as we continue to grow, and we're only going to continue to grow. Those dollars could go to great use in terms of, supplies for families and, support for families, but also support in terms of providing a new burn unit for the hospital.
Getting there was a struggle, but being on the other side now, it gives you a whole different appreciation on life. It really makes you thankful for what you have.
I just think he's just a strong, phenomenal young man who had a strong will to survive, did survive, and is thriving at this point in time like he never was burned. And that's exactly what we want when we begin our process, with resuscitation and go through the surgeries and all the painstaking hours at the bedside. We want him to get back to as much of normalcy so that we don't even realize they have a burn, and that's exactly how he is. And he's a true remarkable story.